Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Shoney's Next Gen Cup Thursday Night Series, round number 5, here with Doghouse Racing League. Today we are here at Auto Club Speedway, a 2-mile-long oval track, 45 laps that we're going to be doing here for the California 90. My name is Mason Highball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you today's action, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as always. Thank you all for tuning in. We are about to get started for some qualifying action from these drivers here tonight. And folks, this is going to be quite an exciting race here at Auto Club Speedway, as this is going to be quite a extended battle for a lot of these drivers here. This is really going to serve as a track that's going to challenge these guys to really stay within the draft of one another and try and stay as close as possible. Let's take a look at some of the drivers that are currently making their way around the track here today. Currently looking at Jeff Martin in the number 9 machine. No one having set any official times yet on the timing tower. This is going to be our driver's first official time laps here. Darrell Whiteside, another driver that is going to be out here on track as well, with Randall Barnett, Dustin Lee, Mike Leftwich, Teddy Wisniewski, Christopher Leftwich, I believe I already said that, Andrew Pratt, Adam Gardner, Dylan Hervatten, Bill Gentry, Justin McMahon, Andrew Corr, and Christopher Simon, all currently on track right now. Just to give you an idea of all the drivers that have made their way out of pit road onto track and to put down their qualifying times for today. Justin McMahon going to be the first driver to do so here today, along with Dustin Lee, taking initially second, now third, now down to fourth, and down to fifth as more drivers start to place themselves on that timing tower, determining where they are going to start for today's race on the starting grid. And right now, Justin McMahon taking that lead, going to be looking very solid out there. Andrew Pratt also going to be out on that front row as it stands currently. A few other drivers here still making their second time lap here officially. Christopher Leftwich in the 5th spot that he holds as he has a slide on the front stretch into the grass. That is not going to look very good for the number 13 as he just barely taps the front wall there, sending himself back down into pit road to get himself reset, ready to go for another time around the track here. See if he can get another good lap around, see if he can get a little bit faster time. And if you weren't here for last week's race, or if you are just not familiar with iRacing and the things that they do, iRacing did release an update to these next-gen cars that greatly affected how they handled and overall performed. Meaning the package changed so considerably that every driver had to basically relearn how to drive the car, which is absolute insanity in the for any league that runs these cars. It is going to be absolutely amazing watching these guys kind of get a feel for things. It's almost like watching the beginning of the season all over again. It's almost like having a brand new car, in a sense, in a very loose sense. I don't mean that entirely literally. So with that in mind, all of these drivers having to work with this new package and work around it and kind of adapt their old style to the new way that it has to be driven now, which, from what I have been told by drivers in both this league, in Doghouse Racing, as well as in other leagues that I talk to, that it's the general consensus is that these cars are definitely more of a driver's machine. And I think that definitely holds true. You definitely cannot hold on the throttle and just kind of send these cars into the turn as you normally were able to before. There's actually a little bit of braking that has to be involved in order to safely make it around a turn. Otherwise, you're just going to find yourself sliding up into the wall. And all right, as we turn to the 51 of Andrew Williams, it looks like he suffered that exact same fate. So that is going to conclude our qualifying for today. I believe there's only just a few seconds left here in the qualifying session before we head on out to the grid, and that is correct. So our starting grid for today for the Shoney's Next Gen Cup Thursday Night Series California 90, Jonathan Jennings in the number 95 machine, starting out in first place with Dylan Hervatin in the 47, taken in second. Rounding out the first row, Kevin Thompson in the 21, going to be in third, with Justin McMahon in the number 20, going to be in fourth place. Rounding out your second row, Andrew Pratt in the number 75, going to be in fifth place. Andrew Corr in the 16, going to be in sixth. Mike Leftwich in the number 60, I couldn't read the number there for a second, is going to be in seventh place. Christopher Simon in the 35, going to be in 8th. Adam Gardner in the 56, going to be in 9th. Teddy Wisniewski in the 26, going to be in your 10th place position. Randall Barnett in 11th. Andrew Williams in 12th place. Bill Gentry in 13th. Michael Schemia in 14th. Dustin Lee going to be in 15th. Christopher Leftwich in 16th. Jeff Martin going to be in 17th. Daryl Whiteside in 18th. Daniel Wilkerson in 19th. Doug Solms going to be in 20th. Eddie Rivers in 21st. Leander Johnson in 22nd. Michael Bowen in 23rd. Rounding out the field here today for round number 5 of the Shoney's Next Gen Cup Thursday Night Series for the California 90 here at Auto Club Speedway. 45 laps that we're going to be doing around this circuit here today. And so as drivers get ready to prepare themselves to make their first lap around the track behind the pace car to get themselves ready for their rolling start of the race, we're going to have a quick word about our race sponsor, Shoney's. Shoney's is an excellent place to have yourself a bite to eat if you are in the West Virginia area. Doghouse Racing League's Thursday Night Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar and take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's delicious food and friendly service since 1947. You can see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, or rather the right-hand side of your screen, you can see the different locations that they have. 6 different locations throughout West Virginia. Give them a try and let me know how they are. And one day I will venture over to West Virginia from where my cozy little place is here in Michigan and find myself at Shoney's to have myself a bite to eat. But with that, I do also want to have a quick look at our current point standings for the series here, and it looks like it had a little bit of a boo-boo when I loaded it in. So that is a little interesting here. But as we see the pace car come down into pit road and get ready for the green flag to fly here, Jonathan Jennings out in front, and there the green flag flies. We are racing here at Auto Club Speedway. The 95 going to be side by side only for a moment with the 47 of Dylan Hervatin. Dylan going to find himself now on the outside of the 21 of Kevin Thompson. You can see the field right behind them, kind of spread out here. Not necessarily in the sense of distance, but between how close they are to the doors of one another. They definitely are allowing themselves to have plenty of room to move around. Great to see that for all of these drivers here. And it kind of an interesting thing to see here as well, given all the different line choices that everyone seems to be making here as well. Get a little bit better view of what I am talking about exactly here. You can see drivers either very low or very high on the track, even kind of towards more in the middle-ish. And it's just an interesting thing to see here as these drivers continue to learn and adapt to this car. And so far, these guys have only continued to look more and more comfortable going into the rest of the series. And coming into today's race, I hope to see that continue forward. And it looks like right now these guys are racing hard, and it's only going to get better as we go on. We're looking at Andrew Corr in the 16 machine right now, 5th place. He's chasing behind the number 20 of Kevin Thompson right now. Or excuse me, that's the 20 of Justin McMahon that he is currently following behind right now in 4th place. And interestingly enough as well, you can see once these guys, yeah, there you go, you can see a lot better as well. Coming down, oh, we have action happening back here in the field. Bill Gentry in the number 34 machine found himself in a little bit of a hiccup there for a moment. Doesn't throw the yellow for the rest of the field, but that's going to cost him quite a few positions, and ultimately find himself quite a bit further back in the field. Lap 4 of 45, though. We are ticking away laps very quickly, right before our very eyes. Right now, drivers are setting off lap times of about 40 seconds. And right now, bear in mind, we also only have 50% of fuel for these drivers to start off with, so drivers will have to come down into pit road, get that quick splash of fuel to finish out the rest of this race here tonight. So going to be on the lookout here, and I have a feeling drivers will be coming down that pit road around lap 25 or 30, maybe a little bit sooner than that, probably around lap 20. If numbers serve me correctly, but could always be wrong. Now, Justin McMahon, as we were following along with here for just some time, Justin McMahon in the number 20 machine just on the inside of Teddy Wisniewski in the number 26 machine, who currently holds that 3rd place position. You can see also as well Jonathan Jennings in the 95 just barely holding out in front of that number 26 machine, holding on to that 2nd place position. Teddy Wisniewski now trying to essentially close that gap between himself and that 95, try and make some moves happen for himself here, maybe even make a pass happen if he can stick with it and keep in that groove. The 51 of Andrew Williams has moved up 4 positions from where we have started in this race here tonight, and right now he's in a position where he's going to be able to continue this pace as long as he can catch up to these guys in front of him and stay in that draft. He's got a little bit of support from the 35 of Christopher Simon right behind him, who was giving him a little bit of draft from behind, but now that 35, Christopher Simon looking down low to make a pass here, but it's actually not true. Christopher Simon coming down into pit road very early. Not exactly sure what the reason is for that. I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. You definitely don't want to come down pit road too early for no reason at all. He might even be trying to take an extreme undercut here and filling up on fuel while he still has that time, and going to extend it for the remainder of this race. And that's a strategy that you could also take as well. You don't necessarily have to wait until you're low on fuel to come down into pit road and make that decision. You can make it as soon as you possibly can if you so choose to do so, but it ultimately up to yourself and what your race strategy is. Speaking of race strategy right now, Andrew Corr is going to be in the mindset of defending that 4th place position and being as wide as he is from the number 20 of Justin McMahon right now. It's very curious to see how some of these guys are able to defend, whether they're on that low or high line, particularly the high that we're seeing a lot of these guys opting to go for, and very blatantly it seems. It doesn't seem like there's any attempt to try and stay low. There might be some more advantage up on that high line. You might be able to carry a little bit more speed, and it looks like that might be true just based on what we're seeing here already. And we're seeing a little bit of momentum out of the guys out of the bottom if they're in each other's draft, if they're able to kind of stay within one another and really push each other, but we're not really seeing a whole lot of drafting going on once these guys break coming out of the straights. Once they come out of that straight, it's pretty much everyone breaks draft and they're all in their own little pockets of air. You can see the number 20 and the 16 of Andrew Corr and Justin McMahon both kind of duking it out side by side there in each other's air. And even as I say that, mention those two drivers, you can kind of see that they all fall in line coming down into the straight, and as soon as they come into turn 1 and 2, they break that formation and all kind of find their own little pockets. But what's interesting is that there's not really a whole lot of shaking and baking going on, and I kind of expected that to happen. I'm not exactly surprised by that, but it's just interesting how these cars have changed and how the racing has also changed. So there's a lot of different things that we have to look out for and kind of just adapt and see how things progress going forward. And with all the different tracks that we have for the rest of the season, given that this update did kind of come on earlier during the season, it does make things a little bit easier. So, not exactly an end of the world situation, but right now everyone doing a fantastic job. But as I say that, Andrew Corr gets on the wall, grinding the 16, the passenger side door, right out of turn 4 for quite some time there. For just a few seconds, loses a position or two as well from that. That's going to cost the 16 some time, and he's going to have to work to regain that here as well. And ultimately, the battles are happening up here in front, but there's still a couple drivers that are within just a quarter of a second of each other. We're looking here at Adam Gardner in the number 56 machine. He's 13th currently. Behind him is Randall Barnett in the 63. These two drivers are getting closer and closer to one another, but you can kind of see the distance is spreading the farther that we go back between these drivers. Now we're looking back here at the number 18 of Daniel Wilkerson, who's got Doug Solms in the 67 just in front of him right now in the 17th at this time. And what's interesting here, guys, is just we're only 13 laps into this race here, and looking at the track map down on your right-hand side of your screen, you're already seeing the spread of the field already starting to happen. And before this update, we potentially would have seen these guys door-to-door racing for all the way up until probably this point. And that's just one of the changes to this car that kind of make it a little bit different to drive and a little bit more challenging for the drivers that may not be completely used to it. So, but we have battles happening up here in 7th place. Andrew Corr, Christopher Leftwich battling it out for 7th place right now. You can see that 13 machine, that Shoney's sponsored machine, looking on the outside here of that number 16 of Andrew Corr. And Andrew looking to regain some of these positions that he lost here from earlier. And he's looking pretty promising right now, but he's got to duke it out here with Christopher Leftwich. And we've got to also mention Christopher having worked his way up 9 positions from the start of this race here. Some absolutely fantastic work from that number 13. Absolutely great work. All right, folks, apologies for that moment of silence. We are going to have a quick look here at our point standings now that we have that squared away here on our end. It was giving us a little bit of a problem here to show it up here, but looking at our current point standings, you can see Justin McMahon is currently taking away this lead in that number 20 machine. currently in this race, he's in 4th place, and right now, the 2nd place runner, Jonathan Jennings, in that number 95 machine is going to be the man to beat here tonight. Lap 17 of 45. You can see just how close these guys are in points. So, if Jonathan Jennings is able to take home a win tonight, he might be able to dethrone Justin McMahon here and take that 1st place, 4 points. But we're still very early on in this season. This is only round 5 of 14. So there's still plenty of races left to go here before we see the end of the season. And if you're looking at those point standings, it's definitely very close between a lot of these guys here. So we're going to see a lot of movement as the season progresses on, and I'm going to expect Justin McMahon, Jonathan Jennings, Andrew Pratt, Randall Barnett, and as well as Jeff Martin, all to be very, very close in this battle here throughout this season. So we're going to stash that away for just a moment. We're going to get back to the action here and see what's happening out here on track. And right now, there is some fantastic battles happening out on our screen. You can see the number 20 of Justin McMahon, who we were just talking about, 2nd place in points right now, duking it out with the 47 of Dylan Hervatten, who is currently leading this race. These guys are absolutely pushing it pedal to the metal. We can ride on board here with Jonathan Jennings in the number 95 machine, who's currently 4th place. You can see the drivers just on his outside drafting in front of him, breaking away as they enter into turn 1. Gonna come out of turn 2 onto the back stretch here. And these battles are tight. Look at how close these drivers are to one another. This is absolutely fantastic racing from all of these drivers here at Auto Club Speedway for the California 90. For Shoney's Next Gen Cup Thursday Night Series. This is some great racing that we have here, folks. Lap 19 of 45. Getting closer and closer to that halfway mark. Jonathan Jennings is still battling it out with the guys up here in front. Andrew Pratt, Justin McMahon also going to be duking it out here. They were side by side for just a moment before they broke away before going into turn 1 and 2. They're going to come down the back stretch here. Looks like Dylan Hervatten and Justin McMahon going to be almost side by side here for just a moment. Not quite enough speed from the number 20 quite yet. He might be able to make that pass happen, though, coming in turn 4. Out onto the front stretch, or the front curve, rather. The number 20, they're going to go 3 wide across the checkered line. That was an absolutely fantastic view. The number 75 of Andrew Pratt squeezing his way right through the middle of Justin McMahon and Dylan Hervatten. That was absolutely fantastic work from that number 75 of Andrew Pratt, but he's going to find himself back into 3rd. These guys are absolutely battling it pedal to the metal, door to door. This is great racing that we have here, folks. Justin McMahon, Dylan Hervatten swapping places back and forth as this battle is tight and continues to unfold. We're going to ride back on board here. Actually, we're going to switch over to Dylan Hervatten's view for just a moment, and we'll take a look at the rear end of that 47 machine just to look behind what's going on and to give you just a little bit of a different view here at Auto Club Speedway. And what a fantastic view that is. These guys all have been duking this out here for 5-6 laps now that they've been like this. This is absolutely thrilling to watch here. But we're going to step away from these guys for just a second. We're going to have a look at these guys battling it out here for 10th place right now. They were getting awfully close to one another. It looked like in timing they were almost a 1/10 of a second between each other, and it is only growing closer and closer. Jeff Martin, Dustin Lee both getting absolutely close to one another. And you can also see Mike Leftwich, Adam Gardner there just behind them, also battling it out here for 12th place currently. Mike Leftwich doing an absolutely fantastic job here tonight. 22 laps left to go here, folks, and this race has been exciting from start to finish. This is absolutely excellent, folks, that we've seen this happen from start to finish. These guys have been pushing as aggressively as they possibly can, and here we go. We are starting our pit cycles, and we have a driver going absolutely sideways. That's the 47 of Dylan Hervatten. He absolutely misses pit road, goes into the grass across the front stretch. That is not going to be good for Dylan Hervatten. He's going to keep it together, though, take a lap around. He's going to try it again, but that's going to put him at a disadvantage here, guys. That's not going to be good for that 47. He's going to find himself essentially behind the rest of the field and might even find himself a lap down if worse comes to worse. Hopefully that doesn't happen here, as Andrew Pratt, Teddy Wisniewski both come down into pit road. Very good work from both of those drivers, keeping it clean as they come down into pit road. And here we go, looking at the rest of the field coming down into pit road. Doug Solms that we're currently locked on with here, as well as Randall Barnett that you can see just behind him. But back out on track, Darrell Whiteside in the number 33 machine. Actually, looks like that's going to be the last of the drivers that are going to be coming down into pit road here. Justin McMahon in the number 20 machine is going to be the leader as of right now once he passes that pit road. And right now it looks like he might be able to stay there if all goes according to plan. And I don't think there's ultimately too much of a plan that you can have here in a race like this. But Justin McMahon is doing a great job here, leading this field as it stands, passing the two drivers, Teddy Wisniewski, Andrew Pratt, that are now coming down out of pit road. And both Teddy Wisniewski, Andrew Pratt, they're going to find themselves out at a very, very good time. They're going to find themselves back into third and fourth place, respectively. Justin McMahon, Kevin Thompson, both going to be leading first and second in this race here. 20 laps left to go here at Auto Club Speedway. And this is only going to spice up more and more. There you can see Andrew Pratt trying to... Oh, no! Oh, no! Teddy Wisniewski! Oh, no! What happened here? Let's take a look here, folks. Okay, so we're looking at Teddy Wisniewski in the number 26 machine. It looks like he's losing it. There he goes. He overcorrects, snaps it up to the top wall, spins it around down into the middle of the track, right out of turn 2. The 34, excuse me, not able to find any path around in time. That is Bill Gentry in the 34. That is unfortunate. Oh, no. Teddy Wisniewski getting put out of the race just by a little slip-up. Oh, folks, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt for that number 26 machine. With only 18 laps left to go here, that is... that's going to be rough. Now, another thing that I want to mention, too, as well, being on these fresh tires once you come out, if you did get tires. Now, you don't exactly have to. Drivers do have an extra set of tires available to them if they would like to utilize it. It is not required, but some drivers sometimes will opt to take either... They'll take the inside tires, or they'll take all fours, or they just won't take any at all, and they'll just take fuel. We can't exactly determine who did what from up here in the booth at this time, but I can tell you right now that almost seemed like it was a tire issue, and it might have even been that they were getting a little warm. They might not even have been that he was on fresh tires. It might have even been just that he was, those tires were starting to get a little hot, and things were starting to get a little wobbly for that number 26 machine. So hopefully not too banged up and he's able to find himself back out on track, but we will keep an update with that as time goes along. It looks like he is still... Nope, he is not. He is going to be out of the race here tonight. That is going to be the end of the 26 machines race here tonight. But we got some people in chat. Sean Thompson, I believe the brother, if I'm not mistaken, of Kevin Thompson, here to show support for that number 21 machine, who is actually second place right now after that pit cycle. So the number 21 going to have an opportunity here to have a stab at leading some laps if he's able to get around the number 20 of Justin McMahon. And he's going to have some stiff competition as well from the 75 of Andrew Pratt. It's also going to be in the mix here as well. And I expect some of the drivers that have kind of found themselves a little bit further back in the field, the 47 of Dylan Hervatin, one of those drivers, is going to be, I expect to slowly work his way back up the field. Jonathan Jennings as well in that number 95 machine. Going to expect to see him back up front here with 16 laps left to go, though. We'll see exactly if that holds to be true. Sean Thompson is the father of Kevin. My mistake, Sean. I keep getting a mixed match. You know, I got brothers, I got fathers and sons, you know, in different teams. So it gets a little confusing sometimes, Sean, but appreciate you coming out here and showing support for the number 21 and also watching the broadcast. This has been an exciting race so far, and I expect to see the action continue to unfold here for the rest of this race. 16 laps going to go by very quickly for these drivers, I think, and also for us watching and calling the action here in the booth. This is going to be quite interesting to see these guys have this restart kind of at a unique spot in the race here today. So here we go, folks. Pace car is back into pit road, and the green flag is going to fly here once again. Andrew Pratt going to take the lead for this race, and you can see that field coming down the front curve into turn one. Going to work their way into turn two, out onto the back stretch. Kevin Thompson in the number 21 machine, going to be followed behind the 51 of Andrew Williams. Michael Schemia in the number one, going to be looking down low. It looks like going to come into turn three. Not quite enough speed to make it work this time around. The 51 of Andrew Williams is looking to possibly make an overtake here for that second place spot that Kevin Thompson currently holds. But looking back at Michael Schemia, you can see just behind him Dustin Lee, Christopher Leftwich duking it out side by side here for just a slight moment going into turns 1 and 2. It doesn't last very long. Oh no, Andrew Pratt involved in an incident. Oh no, folks. The whole field. The big one comes out. That is absolute carnage on track. Let's take things back here from the number 75's perspective. Andrew Pratt, there he goes. Not able to keep it together. Looks like he's trying to correct it. Oh, man. The 21 of Kevin Thompson gets just into the rear end of that 75. And that's just going to cause a whole mess of other issues. And now, right as I say that, We're having some issues with our broadcast software, so we're going to take a quick commercial break and get that squared away. We'll be right back with the live action, folks. Stay tuned for more iRacing here on Team Goon Squad. We'll be right back.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
Alrighty, folks, apologies for that. That is always something that never expect up here in the booth. So, we're back here, following around the pace car as drivers get themselves re-racked, sorted back out here. And just so everyone is aware, it is indeed not the 0th caution. That is indeed not a number, but because of the small issue up here in the booth, that is going to be how it shows for the time being. But this is actually the second caution for today's race here today, just to make that clear. And these guys have done an incredible job so far in this race, and that last caution that we saw, that was ultimately, I think, the worst wreck of the whole season so far. That definitely caught a lot of drivers off guard and collected quite a number of drivers as well. So it's, oh man, that's tough. That's tough for everyone involved in that wreck. That is going to be extremely dampening for especially a lot of the guys that were kind of in the lead there. Kevin Thompson also in second place, getting collected in the mix of that. That's gonna hurt. But Jonathan Jennings in that number 95 machine, he's found his way back up into the top 3 at least. Andrew Williams in the 51 gonna be leading this pack here. Dustin Lee in second, with Daniel Wilkerson gonna be in 4th place, and 11 laps left to go here, folks. This is going to be it. This is going to be the shootout. These guys got to keep it together, hold it together for the rest of this race, and we're gonna see who's gonna take home the win after really it seemed like it was going to be a surefire race for quite some time. We didn't see any major wrecks. Everything looked to be quite solid, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, right towards the end, that's where things seem to shake up the most. So but the pace car is in, and we have the green flag flying once again. Andrew Williams going to take the lead on this field here as we work our way into turn 1 and 2. You can see Dustin Lee, Jonathan Jennings going to be almost side by side there for just a moment. They spread out as they work their way out of turn 2 down the back stretch. You can see the 47, Dylan Hervatin, now having worked his way back up into the top 5. He's going to be in 4th place right now, tracking down the 95, Jonathan Jennings. He's going to go on the inside, coming into turn 3 and out of 4. Down onto the front curve, the 47 of Dylan Hervatin still on the inside of the 95 of Jonathan Jennings. 9 laps left to go as we cross the checkered line here. These guys are in a tight 4-string battle here. This is, oh, you can see the 18, Dustin Lee gets a little bit loose there for just a moment, almost goes into the wall. That was, oh, that looked spicy there for just a minute for the 18 of Dustin Lee. He keeps it together though. 9 laps left to go. You definitely don't want to see that happen here when you're that close to the finish line. This is going to be a heated battle here to the end, folks. Oh, right as I say that. No! Oh, no! There's cars everywhere. There are quite literally cars everywhere involved in that wreck. We're taking a look here. Andrew Williams in the 51 that we're having a look at right now. He's going to be in 15th place currently. He drops these, getting loose. He wasn't able to hold it together. Goes up high into the top wall, collects the number 18, the 33, and almost Daniel Wilkerson in the 73 as well. And there was more cars that were involved in a wreck, but I think that this was a separate wreck. We're going to look here at Randall Barnett in the 63. You can hear the cars wrecking if you listen closely. Oh, and he just smashes right into, okay. All right. So I don't have a view of the other drivers that were involved in that wreck, but man, with, oh, guys, with 8 laps left to go, that just throws the whole race is now up in air. It's the whole thing. Race results are now essentially anyone's guess. I'm a bit lost for words right now as far as who's going to do what now. I mean, these guys have been in an extremely tight battle for quite some time, and now we have another restart. 7 laps left to go. Our field has shrunk quite a bit. We lost a number of drivers from that incident. Now, if we look at our timing tower here, you can see the bottom half, which will scroll down here in just a second. You can see all of the drivers that have already found themselves out of this race. And that's just from the couple of cautions that we've had here tonight. This is our 4th caution for the night. So I'm very surprised at how tonight is going for some of these guys here. And I'm sure that a lot of the drivers here are going to be feeling the same exact way. Not exactly too sure how they're going to feel at the end of the day after a race like this. But I would say if I was a driver here, even if I was put out of the race in any of these collisions that happened tonight, the racing that we've seen here has been honestly some of the best that we've seen in this season so far. We've saw a lot of really aggressive racing and taking into the account the difficulty it takes to drive these cars now. It's absolutely impressive what these guys are doing. I mean, just a moment ago, we were seeing guys too wide, too deep, even more earlier on, and they were handling it like pros. It was absolutely fantastic to watch here. Well, this is going to be the final time around the track with the pace car before we see that pace car come back down into pit road, and 6 laps are going to be left before this race is concluded. And what a ride it has been, folks. This has been an absolutely thrilling race from start to finish, and it hasn't really been in one individual's hands throughout this race. We were seeing some very strong performances earlier on, but that all changed very, very quickly, and especially right after those pit cycles started. But The pace car is going to come in, folks. And the green flag is going to fly one more time. Here at Auto Club Speedway, Dylan Hervatin going to take the lead here. Eddie Rivers going to be in second place in that number 15 machine. Darrell Whiteside going to be in that 33 on the outside of the 32 of Leander Johnson, who is actually starting to squeeze his way into that third place spot. Leander Johnson followed by the 56 of Adam Gardner, who also in that draft goes around the 33 of Darrell Whiteside. So Darrell not in a great spot here out on the outside line. He's going to get passed by drivers who are opting to stay in the draft with one another to make those passes happen here, and that seems to be the best strategy to really make them work. But looking a little bit further back here, you can see in 8th place right now the 95 of Jonathan Jennings down on the inside of the 25 of Michael Bowen. This is the battle for 7th place right now. There you can see Jonathan Jennings making the pass. Now trying to make the pass around Daniel Wilkerson. 4 laps left to go here. Coming into turn 3 and 4. Jonathan Jennings going to stay on this chase here to try and crack his way back into at least. He's worked his way into the top 5. Now he's got to get back into the top 3 if he can make it happen. But these guys are still battling it out side by side. Just behind them, you can see just how much these guys are fighting for these positions here. And it is absolutely fantastic to see. Riding on the top of the 33 of Darrell Whiteside, you can see the drivers just in front of him. Michael Bowen going to be now on his inside as they work their way out of turn 2 down the back stretch. Or excuse me, this is going to be turn 3 and 4 down the front curve. And 2 laps left to go here, folks. This is going to be the final opportunity for these drivers to make any chance at a pass. Dylan Hervatin, though, doesn't seem to be too worried, as he has nearly 2 seconds of a gap between himself and Eddie Rivers, who is battling it out with Leander Johnson in the number 32 machine just behind him. As we come into turn 3 and out of 4 onto the front curve across the checkered line, the white flag will come out. And my question right now is, Eddie Rivers going to be able to hold on to that second place position, as Leander Johnson in that 32 looks very eager. And these guys are going to be battling it out here all the way until the very end. And I think right now Leander Johnson, if he had a little bit more time, a few more laps, he might actually be able to make a pass, but it just seems like he needs a little bit more time. And looking just behind them as well, you can see Adam Gardner and Jonathan Jennings also battling it out here just behind them. But Dylan Hervatin crossing the line for that checkered finish. You can see Eddie Rivers coming across the checkered line. He's going to take home that second place, and that was a close finish for both Jonathan Jennings and Adam Gardner, as they all work their way across the checkered line as well. Great work from everyone here tonight. Jeff Martin, that absolutely beat up number 9 machine, going to work his way across the checkered line now as well. Justin McMahon, Dustin Lee, everyone here having done extremely well here tonight. It was definitely a difficult race, I think, for a lot of these guys. And as drivers start to unwind a little bit and relax after, I'm sure, quite a stressful race here, we're going to look at Dylan Hervatin take some celebratory burnouts on the front stretch and almost taking out another driver as he spins it around there. But that is going to conclude our race for today, and we are going to actually get started into post-race interviews, starting with Leander Johnson. if we can get him in here. Actually, I don't think we will be able to. So we're going to move on here to Eddie Rivers in second place in the number 15 machine. Eddie, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, I do.
Eddie, this was, I think, a race that a lot of the drivers here and myself are going to remember for quite some time. There was a lot of interesting action both in the start of this race and right after we saw the pit cycle start. Things just started to go a little downhill for some of these drivers, Eddie. What do you think happened, and what do you think could have been better for this race tonight?
I think it's just everybody getting used to the new package and the next gen car since they've changed to the 720. It's like driving on ice a lot. After the pit stops, we had the one caution, and which we all know cautions breeds caution. And at that point, it's a matter of survival and trying to be smart, not be too aggressive, and get what you can on each lap, and see where you end up. And that's kind of what I did tonight, was just kind of get what I could on each lap and try to survive the cautions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't really get to see where everyone was during all the carnage, but after that last big pileup, Eddie, the field definitely seemed to look a little bit thinner than when we started. After you had kind of found yourself placed up in the front of the field, what was your mindset on that restart? What was kind of going through your head?
Mindset was stay on the bumper of the leader since I was starting third, and try to time my takeoff with his, which I was hoping would put me out in front of the second place car, and that worked. We kind of took off about the same time, um, which got us into second, and from there it was just trying to run a clean line and wait for the first place car to make a mistake, which he didn't. He ran a good race, ran a clean race. So, hats off to him and congratulations to him. But after that restart, it was, just trying to run clean lines. And I saw the third place car getting close last 2 or 3 laps, and I think I had a little bit more speed than him coming off of four, and I think I had probably a little bit better line that I was running. So I was trying to keep a gap there after coming off of four on each lap, and then maintain it through the rest of the lap.
Yeah, this definitely seemed like it was going to be one of the more tricky races, especially like you said earlier, Eddie. A lot of these guys are going to be getting used to the new package. This was definitely an exciting race to watch up here in the booth. Can't exactly say that it was too exciting for all the drivers that were involved in those wrecks, but Eddie,
No,
sorry, go ahead real quick.
no, I was gonna say no, it wasn't. It's we ran the old package last season, and it was pretty much flat out not lifting very much, and this it's definitely gonna take some getting used to. It's a loose car.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Eddie, thank you for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth before you head out here tonight. But taking home third place, I got to congratulate you on that again. Before you head out, though, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home that you want to thank or shout out before you go?
No, I want to thank everybody that's running in this league with us. Daniel and I created this league couple seasons ago, and we got a great bunch of guys that drive good. So I just want to thank them for coming out each week and racing with us.
Absolutely. Well, Eddie, thank you again for coming up here and chatting with me, and congratulations again on your second place finish. And hopefully, I get to have another conversation with you going forward in the rest of the season.
All right, thanks, man. Y'all have a good night.
You as well, Eddie. Thank you. All right, that was Eddie Rivers in the number 15 machine in second place, taking home the win for tonight. We are actually going to have a look here, and we're going to have a word with Leander Johnson in the number 32 machine, taking home third. He has made his way into the waiting room, so we're going to have a quick chat with Leander Johnson. Leander, sir, can you read me?
Yes, I can read you. How are you?
Leander, I am doing fantastic. Sorry we didn't get to you right away. I was
That's all right.
shuffling things around here as we go. But Leander, you had quite an interesting race as well as everyone else. This was, I did not expect things to go the way that they did tonight. And after that pit cycle started for everyone, carnage just seemed to ensue. Leander, how was it driving that 32 tonight, and how was it trying to work your way through all that mess?
It's cool outside, but it's hot in this room. It make you sweat. This game, I tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun. It's always fun.
Yeah,
it's always fun.
It's always a great time coming together in racing. It's always a great time.
Oh yes, yes it is. Yep. Yep.
Well,
I enjoyed racing with these guys. Been here this year for the first time. Well, I come at the tail end of last year, and this year it's right interesting. I would say so myself.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there, Leander. Now, after that last wreck that we saw the field kind of shuffle quite significantly more, and both yourself, Eddie Rivers, and Dylan Hervanten were able to kind of shuffle their way up into the top three. What was it like chasing down that 15? I noticed you were hunting down Eddie for quite some time in those last few laps, and it seemed like you were pretty eager to try and take that second place position. What was kind of your struggles with that 32 machine tonight and trying to make that happen?
Well, it's always just trying to survive. To be honest with you, trying to run fast with these guys, like I said, it's kind of hard to do. But like luck is one of the main things to have in there. Trust me, you got a lot of luck, and that's what I had tonight. Some luck, especially getting through that last crash.
Yeah, that looked like a mess. Well, Leander, I want to thank you for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth, and I want to congratulate you on taking home third tonight. But before I let you go here, and before you head out and celebrate, is there anyone at home, anyone watching the broadcast that you want to shout out or thank before you go?
Yeah, I shouted to my wife who's in there asleep. She doesn't care. But I shouted out to her anyway. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely, Leander. Thank you for coming up here and chat with me again, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
All righty.
All right, have a great night.
All right. Okay, man. Good night.
All right, folks. Leander Johnson taking home third tonight in the number 32 machine. Last but certainly not least, Dylan Hervanten in the number 47 machine taking home the win. Dylan, sir, do you have a read?
I got you. What's going on?
Oh, Dylan, just enjoying the fantastic racing that you guys put on here tonight. And, excuse me, Dylan, the first thing I got to ask you, you got involved in a little bit of I think it was a little bit of a fender bender, and you kind of found yourself down the field a little bit, and you had to work your way back up to the front here, but you didn't necessarily have to. You kind of just had to let the field do it for you.
Yeah, race was going good up until the first pit stop. I burnt my tires up a little bit sooner than I wanted to. I thought I was doing better, but those guys were back there saving. So, but it ended up working out. I ended up being right there with them when they pitted. But I thought I could get a little bit more than I could handle, and decided instead of spinning it into the 95 or speeding up pit road, that I would just slam it back into gear, get back on the track, and go around. And then I ran out of fuel on pit road. And I was like, well, that's my race. That race, it's over. And I came back out on track. I got through one corner and the caution came out. And I was like, I really didn't want it, to be honest. I was like, I was just going to hope and pray that we go green to the end. And then everything the seas kind of just parted from there. I mean, one wreck after another. Well, I almost wrecked myself again off turn 4, but it ended up working out because I probably would have been involved in that wreck in turn 1, the following corner, if I didn't. So I guess it was just meant to be tonight.
Yeah, Dylan, you were up there in front for quite some time towards the beginning of the race, and yeah, like you said, you got involved in that, sent you back a little bit, but able to come home and take home the win. Dylan, with all the wrecks that happened tonight, it seemed like all the drivers that were doing well were just dropping like flies. Just any sort of wreck that was happening out on track, but you were able to keep that 47 relatively clean and take home the win tonight. But Dylan, before I let you go and before I let you go and celebrate, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home that you want to shout out or thank before you go?
I know my mom's watching, so shout out to her. She's been kind of catching up on the races last couple weeks. Southern Airways Express, even though they're not on the car tonight, I made this a bruisey paint scheme that I decided to debut tonight, and I thought it looked pretty good under the lights, so I gave that a little bit of a show. So even though they don't officially sponsor me, shout out to them. And yeah, you guys do an awesome job putting on these broadcasts. I always go back and watch them back, so appreciate you doing that, and everybody here in the Doghouse Racing League for putting this show on. It wouldn't be possible without everybody here. So no, I really appreciate it, and glad to bring home another one tonight. Second one on the season.
Absolutely. Dylan, congratulations. That was definitely a tough fought battle and a well-earned one as well. Congratulations again, and I look forward to seeing you next week and hopefully get to have a similar conversation with you going forward.
Yeah, it seems like this is starting to become a thing, and I don't quite mind it. So let's keep it.
Absolutely, Dylan. You have a great night.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks. Dylan Hervaten taking home the win in the 47 machine out of the booth here tonight. Wrapping up the California 90 here at Auto Club Speedway for the Shoney's Next Gen Cup Thursday Night Series here with Doghouse Racing League. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already to catch all the action that we have here 7 days a week on Team Goon Squad. Thank you all for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.